Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Coffee Break, and welcome back to the Coffee Cast. I am bringing you yet another PvT because I have not actually found many Zerg games that look all that enticing, not with any big players. I might go ahead and try to find some Nurture games soon. But nonetheless, let's talk about the game at hand, shall we? I have in front of us right here our green Protoss player, mouzMana, and over here, as the purple Terran here on dual site, ESCGoody. These two players are pretty freaking awesome. I do not believe this is from any tournament. I believe this is just a custom match that was played between the two players. I say custom because we are not red and blue. We are green and purple because that is just awesome. That is just awesome. Now I know I've said this a few times lately, but if you don't know these two players, it's because they are two European players, I believe. Mouz and ESC are both European clans. And I can tell you that, once again, both these players are really, really good, and the only reason you haven't heard of them is because they are European players. I used to keep track of them a little bit more than I do now, but they'll give us a good game. I have no guarantees about that. No guarantees whatsoever. I do have a bit of a head cold right now, which is why I have not been streaming, why I haven't been putting out much content the past couple days. So I'm hoping that that'll clear up fairly soon now. I might sound a little bit nasally, so there's that reason for that. But other than that, let's get to the game at hand here. I know the very popular strategy for Protoss right now versus Terran is a 1-gate expand, cybernetics core optional before Nexus. It just depends on what you scout. If you scout something like a 2 racks or something, you might want to put down that cyber core first. Get that warp get out just a bit earlier, start getting some sentries or something. But really, I mean, you can normally do the 1-gate without the cyber and be just fine. However, cyber is definitely the safe way to play it. On the other side, the Terran strategy a lot of the time is to do some sort of 2 racks, 3 racks, do a little bit of pressure against that early expand. It doesn't have to be an all-in, just a little bit of something to force the Protoss player to create units rather than just chrono boosting probes and probes and probes. Because if you let a Protoss player get away too long with just making probes, Terran players are going to find themselves in a lot of trouble because Protoss players on heavy macro are just deadly. Now we are getting the cybernetics core first here. I do not know if we will see an expansion after this. We do have a little bit of minerals saving up, but he might just be waiting for the cyber to finish to make a stalker. And indeed, we are having a stalker and warp gate coming out. We won't be having any sort of crazy random 4-gate as we do have a double gas. So I doubt that will be anything of the upcoming events. We do have a factory dropped for our Protoss player, for our Terran player, excuse me. And one thing that's actually been rather popular lately, interestingly enough, is doing an odd sort of Hellion play versus Protoss. And I've never seen it do anything massively interesting. I personally, I don't actually understand the pull of doing such sort of play. Maybe I'm just a little old-fashioned. Maybe I just don't like seeing Hellions in PvT too much. However, I have not found it to be too big of a deal, as the Terran players can commonly just go from that into some sort of ghost play, MMM play. I mean, it's not any all-in by any means. We are seeing a Twilight Council, and my goodness, my internet is going absolutely insane over here. We are seeing Twilight play coming out of mouzMana. And where is that? Oh, it looks like we're going to be having a 3-gate. Where is it? Gosh, it was what I was looking at the entire time. I would assume that this is going to be some sort of 3-gate blink play that is extremely popular right now. The Robo would be dropped for that Observer fairly shortly after that Twilight Council is done. You want to make sure that you can get that blink started very quickly, though. And it looks like we do have one Hellion over here. A lot of the times that just a single Hellion can be indicative of some sort of Banshee play. That is not the case, however, right now, as we do have a medevac coming out. There is a tech lab down on this factory, though, so these two buildings could still switch out. That is a possibility that Mana will have to look into. He does not want to get caught off guard by that. However, blink play, very, very good versus Banshees, especially, once again, if Mana decides to get some sort of robo up shortly so that he can get an observer out to scout any cloaked Banshee play. Right now, though, we are seeing a siege tank, so Goody might be just going with some sort of siege play versus Protoss. Once again, a bit uncommon of a strategy. A lot of Terran players have been playing with this sort of idea of mech play versus Protoss. Again, not super popular, but it might be the next up-and-coming thing. You never know. I mean, kind of like the Slayers clan coming out with heavy Hellion play versus pretty much everybody at MLG Dallas 2011. You never know when some sort of awesome new strategy like that might be coming into play. We do have 6 six almost Blink Stalkers on the field now, with that Robo coming up very, very shortly. Where are you? Where are you? Oh my goodness, where are you? And I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness, I am so sorry for Goody in this case. $5 to anybody who can tell me what song that is. Not really, I'm not giving $5 to anybody for that. Nonetheless, we do have an observer being chrono boosted out. It was a proxy robo. This is a little bit all-in-ish from our Protoss player here, mouzMana. That's rather surprising. If this robo is scouted and this attack fails, Mana is going to be quite a bit behind. We do have one Banshee on the way now, and the observer is out. The Banshee will not have cloak, however. Not even on the way. This observer is now flying over the base, and we do have a nice little handful of Blink Stalkers over here. It looks to be about a little bit over a dozen Blink Stalkers. This could do quite a bit of damage if Goody is not careful where all his forces are in a fairly decent position here. The observer is spotting the high ground, so the Stalkers can't shoot up. There are quite a few units up here, though. A lot of Marines and a couple of siege tanks, however. And I don't know if Mana's going to have quite enough to blink up there and do the damage he needs to do. Looks like he's going to be content just trying to pick off a supply depot. Siege tank is now on the way, however. It will not be done in time to repel this attack. There was a little bit of nice blink macro. Only one Stalker, no Stalkers going down so far, I think, from Mana. Now, finally, a few Stalkers falling, and it doesn't look like Mana quite has what he needs to push up this ramp once again. These siege tanks, very, very deadly versus the Stalkers. Most of the Stalkers getting away with just a little bit of health left. And it looks like Goody looking to do a little bit of push out afterward. 25 damage versus armor those siege tanks do. And it looks like these Protoss forces are having to back up after that. So this Robo a little bit exposed over here. A few Stalkers here left to defend it. However, that is not what Mana was hoping, I don't think, as once again this was a little bit of a one base all-in-ish strategy. There's a lot of Stalkers, and it doesn't even look like he's looking to expand, and he is still spending a lot of money on the Stalkers. An interesting thing about Stalkers is that if you're making a lot of Stalkers, it is actually extraordinarily difficult to expand or really do any other sort of other play behind it, because Stalkers are relatively high in minerals and relatively high in gas. 125.50 is their cost. So if you're doing some sort of heavy Blink Stalker play like this, you really have to commit to it. We do have this observer on the high ground there, and it looks like the Stalkers wobbling up on the high ground, starts picking up tanks that are in siege mode. The siege mode tanks did get a few shots off before those Stalkers blinked up though, but they do a lot of damage to those tanks, taking them all out, and now all the SCVs are pulled to try to deal with all these Stalkers. The Stalkers are doing a little bit of micro back, a lot of Stalkers have been lost, and eventually they have to blink back down to the low ground. That was a fairly even trade between these two players. Neither player really ahead as of yet. Only 6 Stalkers remain right here for Mana, and there are a lot of SCVs and Marines right here. A lot of SCVs not mining, however, as well. There are currently 9 Stalkers on the field, as well as 1 siege tank, 11 Marines, and a single Banshee. I don't know if Mana, once again, is going to have enough to really push up here. There is quite a bit, and it looks like there was a scan to try to pick off that observer. I do not know if he got it. Yes, he did, as there is no observer on the field right now. Another observer being made. I don't think... Oh, what was that? And the Stalkers doubling up on the high ground once again, and they're all going to be taken out by these Marines and Banshee and SCVs. That is not something that you want as Mana. Only 3 Stalkers remaining in the base. It looks like those are going to get to the low ground by blinking. However, once again, this is a very, very all-in by Mana. Goody just trying to hold on for a little bit here. And once again, fairly even. A lot of SCVs have been pulled at different points in time, but there are now 2 Banshees on the field. Tank production is still going strong. And Mana, if he can't do some damage in this next blink or two, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. It looks like a missile turret is going up to try to scout this observer. However, it does not get up in time. This SCV could be picked off. The supply depot will go down, but that's not going to be too big of a deal. Now the Stalkers can't just walk in, but instead they decide to blink back, seeing that siege tank. And Mana, realizing that he's done a little bit of damage, but not enough, has to try to expand behind this. And Goody already having his command center up as well. Now Mana just needs to do a little bit of damage here. Try to keep Goody contained for a little bit while he gets his own expansion up. Able to pick up another supply depot. And now picking away at this command center. Now it looks like there is going to be another scan, and that observer is not going to quite go down. One Banshee does get picked off there, and now the Stalkers are going to blink black after doing about half damage to this command center. The siege tank and Marines once again proving to be too good of a combination. This is a 1-1-1-esque combination. It is not a 1-1-1 push by any means, obviously. It is far too late into the game. But a very 1-1-1-esque sort of build, and that is a very, very strong build. Now, there is this one stalker moving ahead, trying to draw the siege tank fire, while the rest of the stalkers come up behind and are now shooting at the reactor. Now, this one siege tank needed to be microed right there. Look at this reactor. Oh my goodness, it's going to be close. A mule could be called down, and no, it does burn down. You saw Mana pull up one stalker here to start drawing siege tank fire from that AI, and he brought the rest of his stalkers around to take off the reactor. That is something that you should all take note of. That is very, very good play. You can do that as any race. Excuse me. You can do that as any race, and if the siege tanks are not microed individually, then you will indeed lose your advantage with those siege tanks. Now, the stalkers once again just kind of walking around on the outside, keeping the contain. Meanwhile, the expansion is now up for Mana, and no expansion is up for Goody. It looks like he is going to try to fly it over here to this third base up here, or fourth base, whatever you want to call it. He's going to be ninja expanding. However, this Robo is going to be spotted right there, more likely than not. And it'll be interesting to see what kind of dynamic happens here. Oh my goodness, he's trying to fly all the way up to the gold base. And literally just realized that he is scouting with that Robo facility is going to be spotted. And now the stalkers all running up. They're going to more likely than not be able to pick off this command center, but no, instead falling back, and now it looks like the entire movement from Goody. This is going to be a massive push out. A lot of Marines. There are over 24 Marines, 28 Marines in that group, 4 siege tanks, and 3 Banshees. And it looks like these stalkers are just going to be picked off during their retreat. Really, these stalkers need to maybe blink away a little bit, try to get a little bit of a lead. But it looks like they're just going to be watching, trying to turn around and engage. There's really nothing back at home for Mana to defend with. I mean, really, he has almost nothing. There is an Archon. There is a few charge lots now. Now, I don't know if this is going to be quite enough. Once again, there's a lot of Marines. It's going to be very close. A Guardian Shield does need to be popped in this engagement. There's going to be a very pivotal point, as well as this Archon. It looks like the engagement is going to be coming up now. It's going to be a very, very close battle. A couple of bunkers trying to go down, blocking off the Zealots from being able to rush straight in to take out that siege tank. And it's going to be interesting to see how Mana decides to engage. Will they go all the way around, or is he going to go straight down for the counter-attack? This Nexus is going to be taken down, however. Siege tank seizing up. Very, very good positioning by Mana. By Goody. Mana is now supply blocked 82 over 74. That is never a position you want to be in. And now we see a lot of Zealots and Stalkers moving out across the map. There's going to be a counter-attack from Mana, knowing that he has no choice but to try to stack his own base. Now, it's going to be a very close base range, but I think Goody definitely has the advantage in this case. The probes trying to pull around. Now, I don't know exactly what they're doing. The AI not working its best. Going on an attack order, free of a little bit of supply. Mana is going to be able to warp in a few extra units. Meanwhile, over at Goody's base, the units have now reached there, taking out a lot of buildings. These charge lots doing a lot of damage. However, these buildings all can lift off and just fly into a corner. A little bit of a BM move, but I mean, it's a Terran advantage after all. Now, these warp gates could be powered down with just a couple of shots against these pylons. 2 warp gates do fall, only 2 remain, so there's really no production going on for either player right now. Just a couple of pros remain trying to keep those alive, but he cannot. Now, these Zealots and Archons and Stalkers trying to do as much damage, trying to blink forward to take out of this command center. It's going to be very close. This command center, if it gets him burning, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. All Menno would have to do is try to defend this for a little while that command center burnt down. All the other buildings from Mana have gone down, actually. Now, though, there is one command center now setting up another command center over in Mana's natural base. That pesky Goody. This command center is in the burning. It will go down very, very shortly. It has nowhere to land. But Mana is in a very bad position. He does have 7 probes left. He does have enough resources to expand. But I don't really know. mouzMana has rebuilt his base right down here in the lower right-hand corner of, once again, here on dual side. These 2 barracks are going to be able to scalp that, though. And it should be interesting whether Goody decides to push out and try to take that out, or if he will indeed just sit back, be happy macroing up. I would assume he would go for the macro sort of play, as he does already have a base going. And once he gets his SCVs pulled back, oh no, these are, oh, and we do have a little bit of engagement of Blink Stalkers over here, trying to do a little bit of damage. Any sort of damage that he can do is definitely worth it, though, just to keep Goody on his heels. However, Goody right now is in a very, very defensive position. Mana in more of an offensive position. If he could pick up these 2 barracks, that would be very, very big for him. We do have 5 pylons going down. Those will have to go down eventually, leaving Mana with 0 minerals left to remap her up. I don't think he's going to be able to quite get these barracks, though. He is going to blink forward and try to take one out. Now, this barracks is going to take a little bit of damage, but I think it will be able to get in range of all these units before it is indeed picked off. And yes, those Marines and Banshees are going to be moving up. Now, Mana really needs to fall back here. He is going to lose one stalker. It's one stalker that he really cannot afford to lose. These armies very, very even at this point. 8 SCVs, 7 probes, and the rest is army value. So this game could once again really go either way. I would have to give it to Goody right now because Goody has a much, much better defensive position. And once again, he does have this command center already in place, mining minerals for much longer than this Nexus was. However, in the other right, Mana has the advantage because he has a very mobile army with those charge lots, with the Blink Stalkers, and he has a gold base, which hasn't been mining as long, but it's a gold base. So it's anybody's game at this point in time. It's a very interesting dynamic we have going on here, and it does look like we do have a Banshee in production right now to come over and take out this pylon. So that's a building there that Mana really doesn't want to lose. I mean, really anything that you can have to help out is something that you want, especially since that is a higher tech right now. However, unless Mana randomly decides to warp in some units over here, I do believe that is going to go down. We do have one refinery on the way now. I do not know if this is a rich Vespian guys or not, and a single gateway in production as well that will be finished up fairly shortly now. Both these players content with just sitting back for a little bit and getting some resources, whatever resources they can. It looks like we are going to be trying to train an Immortal at the last second here. I don't think it's going to quite be enough though, as this Banshee is doing quite a bit of damage to this pylon. That pylon will fall very, very shortly. A lot of damage being done, and indeed it looks like it is going to go down now. Now he's trying to build another pylon here. I don't know why exactly though, as this Banshee is still here, could just pick off the probe, pick off the pylon. What he really needs is a couple of stalkers, which we do have coming in right now. Very smart Mana trying to save this building. However, Goody now knows that these stalkers are not with the main army, and that is not a good position to be in. Now this Banshee is kind of a lone Banshee over here right now. The stalkers really can't afford to move away, and it looks like the Banshee will be pulling out for the moment. This Immortal will finish, which is exactly what Mana needs to try to break this defense of Goody. Now Mana, I don't know if he knows that there is a starport left over here. Let's check that out real fast. Whoop, I went to Goody's camp by accident. Well, while we're looking, it doesn't look like Goody had a little bit of a move out, and Mana did spot that, so it looks like he's going to try to take a chance and move in right now. And no, yes, he will take out this one barracks here. I don't know if he's going to commit fully. No, he decides just to take out that one barracks and then fall back. I do believe the army advantage is now in Goody's favor. And once again, let's see real fast. Mana knows about that starport. No, he does not. It looked like there was going to be a little bit of engagement right here, but nothing too big. Once again, he does not know about the starport, so that starport is going to sit there, could create more Banshees. And it looked like we do have the push out coming out from Goody now. He knows that he has the advantage, and Mana is going to try to engage right here. This is it, folks. We do have 2 Archons in the army, which are going to be great against all of these Marines. The Stalker's trying to take out the Banshees up in the air. However, I don't know if it's going to quite be enough. The Immortal does fall. The 2 Archons do remain. The 2 Archons do fall. And now the Center does fall as well. And we only have 5 Stalkers left on the field, as well as 2 Zealots left for mouzMana. It looks like Goody is going to be pushing down to that gold base now. The probe all coming offline, trying to transfer at the last second. It's not going to be quite enough though. The supply favor has now shifted completely over into Goody's advantage, 61 to 27. And I do not think that Goody, Mana is going to have enough to come back in this. Goody just ripping apart the last hope really for Mana, and I don't even know where all of Mana's users went. It looks like he went for a counterattack over at Goody's base. Once again, the army just heavily in favor of Goody, however. Now, this reinforcement thing does get picked off by these stalkers. Not even losing stalker, however, these Marines are going to be pulled out of the bunker and are going to be giving chase to a lot of these stalkers. Down here in Mana's only base, really, it is just absolutely decimated. All the real stuff is going on over here. Now, it looks like all the SCVs, a lot of the SCVs have been killed. The last few SCVs being pulled, and all the tanks over here now ready to defend. One Immortal is on the way, as well as another Nexus for Mana. But once again, Goody with about a 15, a little bit more than a 15 supply advantage in this game. And that includes, I mean the probes and the SCV count are very similar. So no advantage goes economically to either player, except once again Goody just has this mining operational base, and Mana is once again left with nothing but 4 Stalkers, 2 Immortals, and 2 Zealots against a lot of Marines and siege tanks. the composition definitely goes to Goody in this case. It looks like Goody is going to be hunting down Mana once again, though. 3 Immortals on the field to take out these siege tanks, though, and these siege tanks taking a lot of shots. Very good micro by Goody in this, by Mana in this case, taking out 3 siege tanks, 4 siege tanks, and it looks like a 5th siege tank as well. In the end, though, these Starcraft are very hurt. A lot of their shields are down as well. Now it looks like Goody has found this final remaining base for Mana, 34 to 25 supply. These Immortals are going to be very pivotal in this combat. Now a lot of these Marines are going to be self-countered by these Starcraft. The siege tanks hard countered by the Immortals. However, I don't know if it's going to be enough for either player. All the siege tanks have gone down, and it looks like all the Immortals are going to go down too as well. It looks like Mana with an amazing engagement in that instance is going to be able to clean up the army for Goody and actually takes the supply lead here in this game. His base is even up and running now. Once again, another gold base, and I'm curious to see what Mana is going to do off this. Goody has very little right now. He could actually come around this bottom side and try to take out in a barracks or 2 if he really wanted to. We do see another Banshee on the way as well as 2 more barracks. And my goodness, this is such a back and forth game. It's so hard to predict what might happen. There are still 2 Immortals and 2 Zealots left on the field. I don't know why those 2 Zealots are not being utilized. I do not even know where they are. These 4 Starkers linking up onto the high ground. There is an observer on the field as well, which allows Goody to get into the back of the Mana to get back into Goody's base. Does not want to lose the Starker. Really need to blink that back. And I don't know exactly how he's going to get out of this. Looks like he's cornering himself a little bit, trying to take out as many units as possible before he does indeed go down. It looks like 1 Starker goes down, 2 Starkers go down, blinking down onto the low ground, trying to pick off some mules and SCVs. These 2 Immortals coming up around the backside. These bunkers are unmanned. However, once again, a few Marines over here going to be able to try to fend this off. Only 2 Starkers remaining now for Goody, for Mana, excuse me. And these Immortals and 2 Zealots, 1 Zealot finally getting into the fray. I don't know if it's going to be enough, though. It's going to be rather close. There's going to be a repair on this bunker. The bunker does indeed go down, however. These charge lots doing a lot of damage to the Marines. Very good against the Marines, the charge lots are. And then we got the SCVs are going to be both attacking the Immortals. I don't know if it's going to quite be enough, though. All these are being pulled now, as well as 2 Marines just trying to fend off these final attack. 2 more Marines back here. Ready to reinforce the army. The next set of Marines quite a ways off, though. 25 to 7 supply in Goody's favor. This is not looking good for Mana. Mana trying to do a little bit of damage there. Does get a little bit of damage done. However, he is forced to GG. Well played out of the game. A very good game between both of these players. Very back and forth, down to the wire. I mean, that was one of the most even games I have seen in a long time. Extraordinarily entertaining to watch. And once again, this is why I was saying earlier on in the game, these are both very good European players. You cannot discount either of them. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Coffee Break, and I thank you for joining me here on the Coffee Cast. I will try to get more content up soon. I'm just trying to kind of wait out this head cold, but I mean, it's just persistent. It might be a little while yet. My internet here at home while I'm on winter break away from college is a little bit iffy. I've been having a lot of problems streaming, so that is why I have not been live streaming lately as well. So in the end, I might end up delaying the Coffee Cast tournament unless I decide to cast it offline. I'm not exactly sure what to do about that yet. I will let you guys know as soon as I come to a decision. It will be coming within a week at most, since the tournament is coming up January 7th. And you can sign up for the tournament at Coffee Break with a 0. That is Coffee Break with a 0. Weebly, weebly.com. coffeebreak.weebly.com. If you have not already, subscribe and comment on this video. I would greatly appreciate it. I do take your input, and I always love compliments and constructive criticism. And until next time, now that I'm done plugging myself in every form possible, this is Coffee Break, signing out.